yeah, this is in an August time frame right now. And there's literally 30 women, and no one was expecting this, least of all me. And I walk into a room, all of women, me, Donna, and Professor Heem, and I'm like, oh.
And this is at Thela?
This is at Thela. So, you know, we start talking about things, and I'm getting a side that just, there are ideas coming out of this meeting that I'm just not, I would have never thought of, because I'm a man, and I don't deal with this, you know.
Like what?
Well, you know, one of the things they say is, hey, women can't drive in Ramadi. We need to get to the hospital. We have to pay money every time to take a cab to get to the hospital. Who sees the patients most? Women. It sucks. Can we get a way of getting there? So what's that mean? Public transportation to the hospital. Roger. So I would have never thought of that. The women brought up, and they didn't explicitly say it, but you know, by bringing up issues, that's why I'm there to find solutions. They also said, the big thing they said is, we have nowhere to go. We have nothing to do. Like, we're bored. And there's nothing worse. Like, the most dangerous thing in the world is a bored Marine. Well, you know, bored women aren't much better. So, you know, I was like, oh, well, you know, how about if I build a park just for families? Men can come, but it'll be women and children, because there's a park already for men, only men. I said, what if I bring a park for children and women and all that? And they go, yeah, that'd be great. So I built a park right outside the hospital for all the women and children to play. And that was a huge hit with the community and with the families. And we literally made a park with slides, swings, and fountains and fish tanks and all sorts of whatever Iraqis like. I mean,
that was the slide that it didn't slow down.
The slide of death. It was literally like 6 feet tall and went straight down 45-degree angle. So they brought a whole different side. And Donna Carter, through Donna Carter and I talking, we talked about a women's union. And it, you know, the more I was reading about it, and, you know, because now I started ordering economics books just to get caught up. And I bought a specific book, Women in Economics in the Middle East. And, you know, so I start doing some research on this.
Did you have this book delivered to you while you were in Iraq?
Yeah. Amazon, you gotta love them. So, you know, I have all these books on economics, and you know, I'm trying to do 30 things at once. But you know, when I sat down and thought about it, one, there's a delicate, very delicate balance between imposing American values and then taking Iraqi values, and you got to find a balance somewhere in there. One of those things I just really wasn't willing to bend at all on was the treatment of women. It's just wrong. Like,
it's the what?
Treatment of women. It's just fucking wrong. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry, like, it's wrong. And so I took it.
You were in Iraq. You discussed something about most democratic nations.
Yeah.
They have women's rights.
And that's how I rationalize it. But at the, you know, again, this is one of those things. This is wrong. How are we going to get around this? And then, you know, you start looking at case studies and data. Yeah, you look at the safest nations in the world, and they have women's suffrage. They have women's rights, because women. This is not a fact, but women are calming. Now, I think plenty of men would argue against that, and I may argue against that now. But in general, women want to talk things out more. They're not prone to violence quite as much as men, and they're, without a doubt, they're a positive influence in society. They rear children, and if you're talking about really changing the future of Iraq, who do you target in the non-traditional sense? You target the women, obviously, because you want them to say good things about democracy. You want them to be as educated as possible, because they're the one rearing the children. So you get smart women, you get smart children, and that's all there is about it. So I made a big effort to, one, try to educate women as much as possible. Two, try to franchise economically women as much as possible by giving them assets to make their own income. Because, you know, there's always going to be a great disparity if women don't have jobs.
So this is somewhat like the microfinance.
Well, that's what it led to. And then, okay, the theoretics are great. You know, I can talk all day about crap, but if you don't execute, it doesn't mean crap. So, and this, hey Donna. Donna's saying, hey, you know, women's union. I'm saying, great, we'll start a women's union. Money. I got money. Great. So what are we gonna do with this money? And she starts talking about funds, and I say, hey, what if we had a bank? What if we had a bank that dealt? Hey, what's up, dude? Go fuck yourself.
Are you coming home today?
Don't worry about it, baby. I'll be there.
5 minutes.
I'll leave the wine open for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to know about this.
What if, you know, one, we started Women for Bank, and then we started talking about, you know, the different business models, and when she starts talking about, you know, the, was it Grameen Bank, you know, microloans and all that. And so we take that model and we just do it in Iraq, and it worked, you know. I mean, we ran into some
You did
hiccups.
that.
But yeah, it was up.
And what time frame?
It was just starting when I left.
November.
Right at November. I ripped the bank out, so.
And then the last topic is, can you give an overview of Sergeant Humphrey's tour as the
Yes.
Lieutenant Humphrey?
Yeah, so Lieutenant Humphrey shows up as Lieutenant Humphrey. No one knows any different. Wife, kids, blah, blah, blah. Not true. He's doing exactly what all the real lieutenants are doing. And he is a real lieutenant. And he's sharper than most. He was running Jamaica, and he had a crazy deployment because he had Lieutenant Colonel Hamid, who got relieved of command, who was a complete nutcase. He started with Lieutenant Colonel Salah, who went to Azazia, where Sace was. They had to switch because Hamid was crazy. So now Hamid's at Jamaica. He shoots someone in the leg, so Hamid's now thrown out. So now he has another station commander. So he had a lot to deal with. You know, quite a stressful situation. But he's doing the same thing. I mean, he's doing economic initiatives. He's sitting in on all the big boy meetings, and frankly, he's giving more than all of us combined. And you know, I think I dealt out $250,000. He probably did roughly equivalent to that, somewhere in that kind of.
And his chain of command doesn't run for you. It's to.
No, we're equals at that point,
Yeah.
and that's where it should be, and that's where, you know, that was the end state. That's where I wanted to be. You know, I actually, when we were still in CONUS, I got a staff sergeant right before we left, so right during Mojave Viper. Well, so I took Humphrey out of the squad, so I promoted James as a squad leader. So James became a squad leader, and was it James? I think James became the squad leader. And so Humphrey, the issue was, I had this all-star corporal. I had a brand new NCO. I needed, so I called Humphrey my aide-de-camp. So I had, the chain of command literally ran me, Humphrey. I mean, not chain of command technically goes squad leader, lieutenant, but the, you know, pecking order was the squad leaders, staff sergeant, my aide-de-camp Humphrey, and then Lieutenant Mujica. So it was very non-traditional, which I'm sure the staff sergeant didn't appreciate. But
and did he have any other significant events during his?
God, yes, he did, and he could probably talk for hours. But I mean, that's his piece.
Well, let's end it there. And thanks very much.
Yeah, I'm sure I rambled. I'm sure 3/4 of his.